The year is 2000, and HAL Laboratory just released the first ever 3D Kirby game. Kinda. Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, the final part of the Dark Matter trilogy, started development in 1997, right before Kirby's Dream Land 3 was set to release. The development team, who was led by Takashi Saito, struggled in developing this game, noting that the team had trouble delivering on the best Kirby experience they could while keeping to their schedules. They were committed, however, because they did not want to disappoint Kirby fans when they jumped to 3D. At first, Kirby 64 was going to be a Nintendo 64 DD game, but once that failed, they decided to make it a normal Nintendo 64 game. Masahiro Sakurai wanted as little involvement with this game as possible, noting that he didn't even want to play it because he feared his comments would interfere with HAL Laboratory's vision, and he didn't want to impede them at all. Will Kirby's first attempt at 3D? Kinda, bring a whole new dimension to the franchise, or will Kirby become one of the many that had their rough transition? Let's find out. On the other side of the galaxy, there is a planet called Ripple Star, which inhabits a race of fairies and is home to the almighty energy source, the Great Crystal. All of a sudden, a dark cloud enshrouds the planet and, uh-oh, dark matter is back once again to take over and destroy everything in sight. The Queen of Ripple Star orders a fairy named Ribbon to take the crystal and fly away with it, so dark matter doesn't use its power for evil. As Ribbon flees Ripple Star, she is chased and attacked by 3 dark matter clouds. When she's attacked, the crystal breaks into shards that have spread across the whole galaxy. Ribbon crash lands onto planet Popstar, where she meets Kirby. Ribbon pleads with Kirby to help her, to which Kirby obliges as they set off on their quest to get the Crystal Shards and defeat dark matter once and for all. Along the way, they pick up King Dedede, Waddle Dee, and Adeline to help on their quest. After collecting all of the Crystal Shards and defeating the dark matter bosses in the planets across the galaxy, Ribbon sees that Ripple Star is almost completely engulfed in dark matter and is in danger of being left in ruin. The gang travel to Ripple Star and collect the remaining Crystal Shards. The crystal reforms and then shoots a beam of light at the Queen of Ripple Star, revealing that she was being possessed by dark matter. The dark matter within her flies up to space and creates one last planet to try and destroy the universe with, the Dark Star. Kirby uses his cell phone to call the Warp Star to fly everyone to Dark Star, travel to the center, and defeat Zero Two, the true source of all dark matter. After their victory, Kirby and the gang get awarded by the denizens of Ripple Star. Ribbon gives Kirby a kiss, and Kirby falls down the stairs. It is super refreshing that this game's story isn't just another rehash of Kirby's Dream Land 2 like the previous game in the trilogy. I know I said that I didn't have a problem with it in the Dream Land 3 review, and I still don't, but if they did it a third time, it would have just felt lazy. But no, this story not only broadens the scope of the Kirby universe even more, but also gives us a satisfying conclusion to the Dark Matter trilogy once and for all. Also, where the story parts really shine are in the cutscenes between worlds. A lot of them just show goofy hijinks that goes on within the group that is just fun to watch. I would love to see more cutscenes like this in video games in general, where it serves no purpose but to flesh out the group's chemistry with each other, rather than just being a vehicle for story progression. With all of that in mind, Kirby 64's story gets an A+. The gameplay of Kirby 64 is your standard Kirby fare. You run, you jump, you eat enemies, you copy their abilities, you get to the end of the stage, you collect the crystals if you wanna, and then fight the bosses until you win. There is one major difference that Kirby 64 has that sets it apart from every Kirby game to date: the power combo system. In this game, when you eat an enemy and copy its ability, you will notice that the symbol only takes up half of the window that tells you what ability you have. The reason for this is because this game allows Kirby to combine powers. You want to combine Ice with Spark? You can. You want to combine Bomb with Spike? You can. You want to combine Fire with Fire? Against all odds? You can. These abilities are always a treat to obtain and make the game's replayability go through the roof. I think this is such a cool system, and I wish they would bring it back in future Kirby games. Other than that, it is the same solid Kirby gameplay we know and love in the 2.5D perspective. With that in mind, Kirby 64's gameplay gets an A+. Kirby 64 looks and sounds beautiful. The work they put in to make the Kirby art style work in 3D really shows here. It translated perfectly into the new dimension, and the 2.5D look of the levels really adds this layer of uniqueness to the Kirby franchise that has never been seen before. This game really brought Kirby to life. As for the music, oh man, this game rivals Kirby Superstar for the best soundtrack in the franchise. Every song is a banger in this game, especially the final boss theme. Zero Two's theme sounds halfway epic and halfway horrifying all at the same time. You really get the feeling you're fighting a demonic entity here. As for the rest of the tracks, they're just plain fun. With all that in mind, Kirby 64's presentation gets an A+. To complete Kirby 64, all you have to do is collect all 74 Crystal Shards throughout the game. That's it. No extra mode, no boss rush, no nothing. Sure, you unlock mini games, a boss rush, and there's even character cards to collect, but none of those are required for 100%, so I ain't doing them. After going through so many Kirby games where the completion requirement requires some insane stuff, I still don't forgive you, Girl Blob. It's nice to have a very nice and sweet completion requirement like this one. The only thing that's annoying about the Crystal Shards is the backtracking. Some Crystal Shards require certain abilities to be able to access, which requires a good amount of backtracking to get them. The stages are short enough, however, that you can get the Crystal Shard you need pretty quickly and then just exit the stage as soon as you do, and bloop, you're done. Plus, Zero Two is definitely worth the slight hassle. I would 100% recommend completing this game. Was it any surprise going into this video that Kirby 64 was going to score so high? Kirby 64 The Crystal Shards is known as one of the greatest Kirby games of all time, and there is absolutely no question as to why. With the most grand story Kirby has seen yet, stunning 3D visuals, a near-perfect soundtrack, and gameplay that added a feature that I wish would just come back to the Kirby franchise already, Kirby 64 deserves every bit of praise it gets. With all of that in mind, Kirby 64 gets my overall rating of an A+. Kirby's transition into 3D was as smooth as my brain. Considering this is available on the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass, you have no excuse not to play this masterpiece. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the new format of the retrospectives. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. All the social media are in the description below, so check them out as well. We also got merch in the description. Next week, we will be looking at the next Kirby game in the lineup, Kirby's Tilt and Tumble. But if you're too impatient to wait a week, you can become a channel member and watch it right now. I'm Bottles, and I bid you, my well-esteemed guests, adieu.